Following video has graphic details of horrific events that happen during rituals, and I want to give a warning. This is not for kids, so please, if there are kids around, please remove them or skip this video. If there is, if you have issues hearing horrific events, please move on. If you hear torture and trauma happening to other individuals and it keeps you up at night, please move on. This is very impactful. Then this video is just a beginning, a portion of an even more horrific story, which happens later on in the original video that I'm about to play.
I want to tell the world about what these people really are, especially her that wears the crown.
Scum! Evil! Satanic scum!
Yeah. As a child, the police would come to my home and collect me, and they would bring me here. Uniformed police in their police cars would collect me and bring me here. The police who swear an oath to serve and protect the public, they would deliver me to the evil that is behind these gates. What I am sure of, though, is those waiting for me to be delivered, for us to arrive, groups of children, they wouldn't have known that actually it was the police that would always rape us first.
Shame on you!
You know it!
Freemasons!
Freemasons!
They thought behind those walls that the police were delivering pure children that hadn't been tampered with. But I was beaten and raped multiple times before I even was put in the car to be brought here. So here I am, stood here for the first time as an adult survivor. I'm ready to tell the world the truth about Windsor Castle. Yes. Ready to tell the world the truth about the evil atrocities that are inflicted on children at the hands of our royal family. My time spent here took me to the depths of depravity, a hell on earth that only a survivor of satanic ritual abuse can ever understand. The main events, and they are events, they're advertised on the Satanic calendar. They have their own calendar. It's a Satanic ritual abuse calendar. There's a big date coming up at the end of this month. It's called Halloween, All Hallows Eve. They celebrate Halloween in there, but not like you do, with fireworks, masks, pumpkins. They celebrate Halloween in there with mass sacrifice of babies and children, mass rituals. That's how they celebrate Halloween. And that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So in this week's leading up to Halloween, do you know what they're doing? They've got their minions. They've got their minions out on the streets, abducting children. They've got their breeders that are bred, raped, impregnated, so their babies are born ready for October 31st, ready for mass sacrifice. Have I gone off? No. Mass rituals. That's how they celebrate Halloween. So these main events, because they are events on their calendars, that go on inside these walls, were called hunting games and large mass rituals. Research it, yeah. Everything I'm telling you here today, you can go away and research. Everything. Queen Elizabeth is the head of the Freemasons. The Freemasons are a shop front for satanic ritual abuse. Even your first initiation is satanic, isn't it? Because I know there are plenty of you around here that are in the Freemasons. And you cannot deny you know what you know. To get to a 33rd degree Freemason level, you have to sacrifice a baby. I know what goes on, and the world knows what goes on, and they're going to know even more after today, because everything I'm saying is going to be heard around the world. In between these events, I would be held in an underground dungeon. The dungeons in here are big, dark, cold spaces. They are below. They are underground, but you have to go into the buildings to get to them. There are many of these Crown estates that have tunnel systems. Buckingham Palace has a tunnel system, another place where I was also taken. And the tunnel system goes through to Parliament, where we also have Freemasons and Satanists. But here, the dungeons, you have to go inside to reach them. My memory tells me there were three different dungeons that I was taken to, with different setups for different torture. There may be more dungeons than that here, but as I said, I will only tell you what I know for sure, fact, that comes from my memories. And I remember there to be three. The dungeons in Windsor Castle are kitted out for torture. There would always be a man and a woman in these dungeons, inflicting the torture. Always one of each, always a man and a woman. I was often chained onto a wall and left hanging. One dungeon is set up for that, where you are taken and there were big iron rings on the walls and iron things that went round the neck, and you would be put onto the wall and just left freely hanging. There was another dungeon that specialised in water torture. I think in the Western world or in other worlds we call it waterboarding. It's just torture. It's water torture. Water torture was always used when I was here. It was used to brainwash, which is why there was always a man and a woman, because the woman would play good cop, bad cop. Let's put it that way, okay? That's how they start brainwashing children to believe that you need to be rescued by the woman. My mother would be the one sitting at the head, stroking my face, telling me, there, mummy's here, while I was being tortured down the other end with hot red pokers. This is why they use a man and a woman. And there's a man and a woman that occupies each one of those dungeons. The water torture is mainly for brainwashing. They never, ever, ever want us to come out of there and speak, which is why there are so few survivors that can do this.